Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video by yours truly. I wanted to talk with you guys about Yeli because I finally have built this girl up to a decent build to where I can give you guys a good, well-rounded discussion surrounding her in terms of how to build her, how I think she performs, how much investment you need in order for her to really function, and is she worth it overall. I always strive to give a pretty accurate analysis of characters, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I don't like talking about stuff until I've deeply dove into their kits. I've dabbled in her kit in a number of ways. I've ran her with Keen Eye Fury, but then I've also dabbled with the Battle Wheel set, which I believe I have it over here, Yeli RNG, that's what I call it. I've done Battle Wheel with Keen Eye as well, but what I've come to learn off rip is that Keen Eye is kind of mid. I think Momentum's going to be the best option for her over Keen Eye, and I think Fury is going to be better than Battle Wheel. But there is a bit of a caveat because when it comes to her shell, a lot of people are running Revelation with her over Golden Lion, and it's because Revelation hits like a freaking truck. But what I've come to learn is that if the fight is a bit more long-winded, I'll just give you an example. Maybe you're going up against Memory Abyss, this chick, right? Which 3 freaking stages. You get all 8 stacks of that Golden Lion, you start pumping out some real freaking damage with her. And that's because that Golden Lion is giving you both effect accuracy and final damage increase, and it stacks up to 8 times. So I do think in long-winded fights, which are a bit more niche scenarios, that Golden Lion can pop off. But as we know, in the end game of Etheria Restart, everything is so burst heavy. If we just come over here to a threshold mode again, we go to Terramaton and we open up this book and you look at what the Wells are doing, 27-second run, you ain't got no time to build up 8 stacks with the Golden Lion. It's just not gonna happen. And so they're gonna run Revelation, Fury Edge, full-blown nuke. This guy's got 4,000 attack, which off little tangent here, this is one of my favorite elements of these kind of games. I love that you can come in here and analyze what these other people are doing, whether they're Wells or not. I usually at clear time is the Wells. Recent clears are just more of a sweaty but not really a well. You'll see a bunch of different Shadow Sanyas, but then in there you can find every now and then characters that aren't Shadow Sanya, and you then take a peek at their kits and see what they're doing to get over at Terramaton. But as you can see, speaking of which, I still haven't beat Inferno Terramaton. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about. With Yeli, who is the person I'm trying to beat him with, I still don't have enough investment. And what's crazy about that is I have full-blown, skill 2 fleshed out. I have full-blown skill 1 fleshed out, but I don't have full-blown skill 3 fleshed out. And somebody might be thinking, that's why. No, not really. Even if I fleshed out the skill 3, my damage just isn't there. And the reason it's not there is because she needs to obliterate this crit rate for more attack percent. But in order for me to do that, I have to have 3-piece momentum, right? And in placement of the Keen Eye. I also need to have the Terramaton piece on Inferno that gives you another 12% crit rate. So momentum plus the Terramaton final piece, that's 24% crit rate given to her. Basically, it's gonna allow me to shoot her up so high in the crit rate department that I can now remove this crit rate piece and put in an attack percent piece for just straight up damage increase. But when you think about all the things I'm presenting to you here, guys, I mean, dude, that's a lot of investment. A lot of investment. 8 lattices in a game where the lattices are incredibly scarce. Those 8 lattices can be used on my Lily in order for me to get this all the way fleshed out. I use Lily in quite literally 99% of the content. The other 4 lattices can be used on my Ling Luo to fill this all the way up for my Aurora farming. This character, although strong, she is super in-game heavy. And when I say in-game heavy, I mean you're already comfortably at a point where you're pretty much autoing in a Terramaton and preying on this piece to spawn in, right? It's like if you're gonna pull on Yeli, you're at a point in Etheria Restart where you've already taken care of your PvE goals to grind in-game gear to then put on a Yeli. I think she's more of a trophy character than she is a necessity. And I found myself many times overcoming obstacles I couldn't get with her with Didding. which that's the next thing I want to talk to you guys about. If you come over here to the challenge mode and you go to threshold, or I'm sorry, grim pursuit, one big problem is Shadow Flame Hoyan is a big like staple for me because it's the revelation one. It's also the jackal, and it's this thing which I want to use with PvP content. This guy as well, good for PvP. I can beat this with Didding, but if I try to use oh girl, 200% damage to constant, right? She gets obliterated by this girl if I try to use her here. So I can't use her there, right? And if I try to use her against Sharon, Sharon is immune to debuffs, right? So I can't put her defensive down on him. That's a massive DPS loss for my Yeli. Now I do use her against Nico Nana, but Didding can also get the job done. So I don't really need her in 3 of the staples of shell farming. This is the only guy I can use her in, and you need a shit ton of speed on him. And I dare say Didding can get the job done on him as well. So she's really more of like a side grade in my experience in these regards. The only real like mode I think she can really shine in is going to be Terramatan for sure. I think Aurora, I'm going to be real. My Shiata has been carrying me in Doki Doki. And once I get my Lingluo set up, she carries me in Aurora too. My Shiata has been popping off there. So I think Yeli is really going to be more of a PvP until very late game. That has been my experience with her. I've been using her a crap ton. And I've just come to find out that although she's the most fun character I've ever used, for sure, I love her. She's so fun to play. The investment on her might not be worth it for somebody who's very free to play friendly, who doesn't have the trophy luxury to pull on another DPS that's just gonna need all of these tools in order for her to really be viable. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, this is going to sound weird, but I think it's cool that she's not that strong, or she's not broken, like at least not without insane amounts of investment, because I come from a world where if a new character like that came out, she's absolutely going to be stronger, right? Y'all know the world we're talking about here. She's going to be shitting on my Didding, and my Didding is now, he feels like a goddamn piece of jello. You know? I like the idea of the new light character that came out didn't just obliterate my boy. My boy still no diffs her. You know, now with absurd amounts of investment, she might edge him out a bit. But the fact that they balanced it in a way where Didding is still going to be that guy for all the free-to-play and budget-friendly players, I think that's cool. I think that's respectable. Because here's the thing. It should be like a competitive atmosphere of a role of DPS. And the only thing really separating them is kind of the strategy you go for or the enjoyability of the character based off of your subjective sentiment. And me, I don't regret picking her up because she's so fun. I can't tell you, bro. I love just like coming over here. In fact, let's just do hell for Terramatan. Let's take out the Didding real quick and we'll throw her in there. And she should be rocking her whole thing. Okay, so we got the revelation build on her. You can do the battle will as well. It works. Both of them can get the job done in Hell 4, but in Inferno, you need a lot more damage. Just like shit just starts hitting the fan in Inferno. So yeah, this is like a super tank heavy build so that you don't take any damage. Kachi the guard paired up with Holden enable you to just be super beefy. And then she comes in with that defensive shred, follow up. You hope she follows up at least twice, which she did. Nice start, solid damage there. But this is the funnest thing for me when I'm playing this character. I am always waiting on her to go so that she can hopefully deal at least 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 follow-up attacks. Now, I've never seen her do more than like 4 follow-up attacks with the Revelation build, but with Battle Will, she can do 5 to 7 follow-ups. That's 3. See, I love it. I'm like, oh my God, do another one. I'm always watching it. I don't regret pulling on this character because this kind of playstyle I love. I love the dice roll mechanism on a character. It reminds me of like Vulcan being a massive simp of what's her name with the dice, literal dice in HSR. Damn it, I can't remember her name. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I have that same type of enjoyment for a character because I don't know, it's just more fun to watch that type of mechanism occur versus I already know what's going to happen. It's guaranteed, you know, it's just a bit more dopamine. But yeah, outside of this, you know, that's pretty much how she functions, you know. In PvP, I will say she's got a bit more, actually not a bit more, I'd say she probably has a lot more viability than Ditting, because she's actually able to not only steal buffs, burst down the whole team with her ult, but she's also able to apply defensive shred. That's just like, she's straight up shitting on Ditting in PvP. I think she's a whole different beast in PvP because of all those extra elements. And then she can also deal tons of damage to single target wise. But that's how she performs on a Hell 4 level. And once you get the right investment on her, she's going to perform the same way on the Inferno level as well. Now, there is one more tidbit I want to talk to you guys about, and that is, should you invest in skill 1 if you're planning on picking her up or you do have her, or skill 3? Which one would take precedence over the other? If you have a Lily, which all things are possible through Lily, Lily can cast her AoE, right? Which reduces the skill cooldown of Yeli. If you have her skill 3 invested in down to here, then she ults twice with Revelation, both times. But if you don't have this invested in, like me, then she's going to spend one of those Revelation procs just doing her basic attack follow-up, which that she can do some damage, right? But obviously the most DPS is double proccing ultimate back-to-back with Revelation for some serious damage. And I'm pretty sure that's what you're gonna see a majority of people doing. Filling out this skill 3 here all the way so that Lily can do AoE into a double ult from Yeli. That is pretty important to mention. Besides, the basic attack buff steal right here can be bypassed if you own a Holden on your account against the immunity of Terramaton, which that's going to be the strategy. Most people are going to be rocking an insanely fast, like 256 speed or higher Holden to remove the immunity from Terramaton, and then, you know, get it shaken with every other debuff you got following up from Klaus, as well as her. So yeah, I think this takes precedence, but I don't really care. I'm eventually going to fill out the whole thing because I really want to play this character bad, and I want to make her pop off in PvP too. I do have a concern that if I go up against a Silence, Silence can counter the hell out of me, but I also kind of counter Silence because if you ult with her, she just cleanses the debuff she has before she goes. So it's like, Silence puts Forgetfulness on her, but then she ults, removes the Forgetfulness, and continues to follow up anyway. It's like the Silence counter is gonna have to rock the Codex of Magic so she can ult again. But then I'm gonna ult again because of my Lily. No, never mind, you banned my Lily. Anyways, those are all my thoughts of Yeli. Very fun and very powerful DPS, but extremely expensive. If you have a Ditting, he's gonna no diff her in PvE until you get that absurd amount of investment. But in PvP, which for a light character, this makes sense, she's gonna outperform the living shit out of a Ditting. So in that regard, I guess that's something to consider for you. If you like this video, don't forget to comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Peace, love, and happiness. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.